They say that what we think about before going to sleep, the thoughts we plant in our minds right before we drift off, has a special kind of power. It can deeply influence our brain, our subconscious, and even the way we wake up the next morning. And it really seems to be true. So today, let's talk about what we can do in the evening to make our dreams come true. How to prepare our mind before sleep so that during the night our brain organizes all our inner resources and helps us move toward the life we want. Let's talk about that.
Once upon a time, in the 1970s, John Grinder, the creator of NLP, began studying Nobel Prize winners. He wanted to understand what made them different. Why did they achieve such extraordinary results? Achievements so important that humanity recognized them as milestones in history. And here's what he discovered. All Nobel laureates had two things in common. First, none of them had an easy childhood. Not a single one. Every Nobel laureate had gone through difficulties, challenges, or pain growing up. And second, they all dreamed in the same way. Back in the 70s, John Grinder started to develop a method based on this insight. A psychological technique that could help anyone train their mind the way great thinkers and visionaries do. Over time, that technique evolved into a powerful, practical tool. A method called the view from the future.
So, what exactly is this technique? We all have different ways of imagining ourselves. One way is from the inside. You see your hands, your legs, your body, but not your face. You're living the moment as yourself. Back in the 1970s, when U.S. intelligence agencies were training their special operatives, they discovered something fascinating. When a person vividly imagines a physical action from the inside, as if they're actually doing it, the brain sends the same exact signals through the same neural pathways as if the movement were real. For example, if I imagine lifting a dumbbell with my left hand without actually moving it, and I do that every day, after a month that arm will become stronger. Why? Because the brain activates the same pathways. Blood flow increases, new neural connections form, and the muscles respond, even though I never moved a real weight. This is called an ideomotor reaction, when thought alone triggers real physiological signals that affect the body. That's why a good doctor will always tell a patient recovering from a stroke to mentally move the paralyzed arm. The brain begins to rewire itself, and healing happens faster. And now we know exactly why. The same principle is used in mental training by athletes, artists, and performers. An athlete imagines the fight. A dancer rehearses a movement in her mind. An actor plays out an emotional scene in imagination before stepping on stage. Even when they can't physically practice, they can train through visualization. It might sound simple, but it's actually not that easy. Because how you imagine yourself matters deeply. You can imagine yourself from the inside, or you can imagine yourself from the outside, like watching a movie about yourself. This is called dissociation. And here's the thing. Dissociated imagery doesn't work the same way. When you see yourself as a character on the screen, the brain doesn't send those motor signals. There's no nerve activation, no increased blood flow, no muscle engagement. That's why many people who tried mental training said it didn't work. They were just watching themselves instead of being themselves. When you feel the seat, the steering wheel, the movement, can you know whether it's truly your car? From the outside, every car looks great.
But once you sit inside and start driving, now, imagine this. You picture yourself in the future, a version of you who already lives the life you've always dreamed of. You start by looking at it from the outside. You watch how that person lives, what they do, what they have, how they spend their time, what kind of relationships they enjoy. You observe this image for a while, and then you step inside it. You enter that version of yourself, as if climbing into your own body 5 years from now. You live through it from the inside. It's like taking a test drive. Why do people take a test drive before buying a car? Because only when you sit inside, you instantly know if it fits you, if it feels right. And when it does, the decision to buy becomes easy. Why this works? It's like giving a mountain climber a helicopter ride over the exact route they'll climb. From above, they can see every obstacle, every dangerous turn, every detail of the terrain. They can plan what gear they'll need, what rope length, which path is safest. And when they finally climb, they're ready. That's what happens with this technique too. I recommend practicing it in the evening. Why do it before sleep? Here's why. Around 9:30 p.m., your body starts producing a hormone called melatonin. It slows down digestion, relaxes your body, and prepares you for sleep. Melatonin isn't exactly the sleep hormone. It's more like a bridge, a hormone that helps your body and brain transition into that calm, dreamy state. Lower blood pressure, slower heartbeat, deep relaxation. It's the perfect moment for this exercise. Because right before sleep, your imagination becomes vivid and alive. If you practice the view from the future then, your brain will spend the whole night processing it. During sleep, your mind begins to design ways to reach that future. It builds paths, finds resources, and starts aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward that vision. So today, we talked about what you can do in the evening to help your dreams come true. How to guide your mind so that during the night, like a powerful computer, it works through the possibilities, organizes your inner resources, and attracts what you need from the outside world to build the life you imagine. Try it. It will help you more than you think. Thank you for watching, for liking, and for staying with me until the end. Share this video, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. I wish you happiness.